There comes a moment in every person's life. A moment when everything feels like it's falling apart. A moment when the light disappears. A moment when you sit alone, surrounded by silence, asking yourself, why is this happening to me? You feel lost. You feel broken. You feel like no one understands your pain. And the truth is, maybe no one does. Because some battles are meant to be fought alone. Let me tell you something important. Darkness is not your enemy. Darkness is your teacher. The nights that make you cry. The days that make you question your worth. The failures that shake your confidence. These are not here to destroy you. They are here to build you. Think about it. Gold is not formed without fire. Diamonds are not created without pressure. And strong people are not made in comfort. They are made in chaos. Right now, you might be going through your darkest night. Maybe you've lost something important. Maybe someone you trusted walked away. Maybe your dreams feel like they're slipping out of your hands. And it hurts. It hurts in ways you can't even explain. But listen carefully. This pain has a purpose. The world doesn't show you this part. Social media shows success. It shows happiness. It shows victories. But it hides the struggle. It hides the sleepless nights. It hides the rejection. It hides the tears. Every successful person you admire has walked through darkness. Not once, but many times. They failed. They doubted themselves. They wanted to quit. But they didn't. And that's the difference. Not talent. Not luck. Persistence. You see, darkness does something powerful. It strips everything away. Your comfort. Your ego. Your distractions. And it leaves you with one thing. Your true self. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can either stay down or rise stronger. Most people give up in the dark. They quit when things get hard. They walk away when they don't see results. They settle for less because they're afraid of failing again. But you're not most people. You're still here. You're still fighting. And that means something. Let me tell you a truth that will change your life. Your darkest nights are preparing you for your brightest future. Right now, it may not make sense. Right now, it feels unfair. But one day, you will look back at this moment and realize, this is where everything changed. Because pain changes people. It makes you stronger. It makes you wiser. It makes you unstoppable. The version of you that exists after this struggle will not be the same. You will be tougher. You will be sharper. You will be fearless. But only if you don't quit. Understand this. Growth is uncomfortable. If you're comfortable all the time, you're not growing. You're staying the same. The discomfort you feel right now, that's growth. The confusion, that's growth. The struggle, that's growth. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. And rebuilding is not easy. It requires patience. It requires faith. It requires strength you didn't even know you had. But you have it. You've always had it. You just haven't been tested like this before. This is your test. This is your moment. This is your turning point. So when the night feels too dark, when your mind is filled with doubt, when your heart feels heavy, remember this. The sun always rises. Always. No matter how long the night is. Morning will come. And when it does, you won't be the same person who entered the darkness. You'll be stronger. Because the darkest nights create the brightest futures. When life breaks you down, it is not trying to end you. It is trying to rebuild you differently. A stronger version. A wiser version. A version that cannot be easily shaken again. You may not understand it now. But pain is not just suffering. Pain is information. It shows you where you are weak. It shows you what needs to change. It shows you what you must overcome to grow. Think about your hardest days. The days you wanted to disappear. The nights you couldn't sleep. The moments you stared at the ceiling thinking, I can't do this anymore. Those moments didn't come to destroy you. They came to wake you up. Because sometimes life doesn't whisper. Sometimes life screams. It shakes you so hard that you finally stop living on autopilot. And in that silence of pain, something powerful happens. You start thinking. You start questioning. You start becoming aware. And awareness is the first step to transformation. Most people never grow because they avoid pain. They distract themselves. They run from discomfort. They choose temporary comfort over permanent growth. But you are different now. Because life has forced you to look at reality. And reality is this. Nothing meaningful comes without struggle. No success. No greatness. No victory. Even nature proves this. A seed must break before it grows. It must be buried in darkness. Completely covered. Completely unseen. Before it becomes a tree. So if you feel buried right now, if you feel like nothing is happening in your life, if you feel forgotten, understand this. You are not buried. You are planted. And something planted is never meant to stay underground forever. There is a hidden strength inside you that only pain can activate. When everything is easy, you don't discover it. When life is comfortable, you don't need it. But when everything falls apart, that strength wakes up. And suddenly, you realize, I am stronger than I thought. Let me tell you something real. The version of you that survives pain is far more powerful than the version that avoids it. Because survival creates strength. And strength creates transformation. Every successful person has one thing in common. They didn't quit when it hurt. They didn't stop when it got hard. They didn't give up when nothing made sense. They kept going, even when they had no reason to believe. And that is where greatness is born. Not in comfort, but in chaos. You might feel like your life is falling apart right now. But sometimes, falling apart is the only way to rebuild correctly. Think of a broken wall. You don't just paint over cracks. You break it down and rebuild it stronger. That is what life is doing to you. It is breaking what is weak. So something unbreakable can be built in its place. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels unfair. Yes, it makes you question everything. But growth always feels like loss in the beginning. Because you are losing old habits, old thinking, old identity, old limits. And when those things fall away, you feel empty. But that emptiness is not destruction. It is space. Space for something better to enter your life. You are being prepared for something you cannot yet see. A future version of you that will look back and say, now I understand why I had to go through that. But that understanding only comes later. Right now, you are in the middle. And the middle always feels confusing. But do not stop in the middle. Because most people quit exactly there. Not at the beginning. Not at the end. But in the middle of transformation. And that is where you must be careful. Because your future is decided in this phase. So keep going. Even when it's slow. Even when it hurts. even when nothing is changing. Because change is happening, just not visibly yet. A tree does not grow overnight. But underground, roots are forming. Strong. Deep. Invisible. And that is exactly what is happening to you. You are building roots right now. Roots of patience. Roots of strength. Roots of resilience. And one day, when the storm comes again, you will not fall. Because your roots will hold you. And that is when you will realize the darkest nights were never your end. They were your foundation. Failure is not what you think it is. It is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every person you see shining today has a history you don't see. A history of failure. A history of rejection. A history of being told no. And at some point, they all felt the same emotions you feel now. Confusion. Doubt. Embarrassment. Pain. But here is what separates them from everyone else. They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Because failure has two choices. It either breaks you, or it builds you. Most people choose to quit after failure. They see rejection as a sign to stop. They see mistakes as proof they are not good enough. But in reality, failure is not a message of stop. It is a message of improve. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall again and again. Do they say, "I am not meant to walk"? No. They stand up again. And again. And again. Because failure is part of learning. And life is no different. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you are learning. Every rejection you face is not the end of your story. It is redirection. It is life saying, "This path is not yours. Try another one." But people misunderstand rejection. They take it personally. They think it means they are not good enough. But rejection is not personal. It is directional. Sometimes, what you want is not what you need. And what you need is being prepared for you. There is a delay between struggle and success. And in that delay, most people give up. But if you survive the delay, if you keep going when nothing makes sense, if you continue when no one believes in you, that is where transformation begins. Because success is not instant. It is built slowly, silently, painfully. You do not see the foundation of a building being made. You only see the final structure. But before it stands tall, there is deep work underground. And your life is the same. What people see is only the surface. But beneath it, you are being built. Every no you receive is shaping you. Every rejection is strengthening your mindset. Every failure is removing your fear of trying again. Because the more you fail, the less you fear failure. And the less you fear failure, the closer you get to success. Let's talk about loneliness. Because in your darkest nights, you may feel alone. Very alone. Like no one understands you. Like no one is coming to help you. Like you are fighting a battle in silence. But loneliness is not punishment. It is preparation. Because growth happens in solitude. Clarity happens in silence. Strength is built when no one is watching. Even the strongest people had lonely seasons. Times when they were ignored. Times when they were misunderstood. Times when they had no support. But those seasons shaped them. Because in loneliness, you meet yourself. The real version. Not the version people expect. Not the version you pretend to be. And that meeting changes everything. Because once you know yourself deeply, you become unshakable. Rejection teaches you confidence. Failure teaches you resilience. Loneliness teaches you self-reliance. And together, they build a powerful human being. So if you are in a season where nothing is working, where people don't believe in you, where results are not showing, do not quit. Because this is not the end. This is construction. You are being shaped into someone stronger than your past. Someone wiser than your mistakes. Someone bigger than your fears. And one day, the same people who ignored you will look at your success and wonder, how did they do it? And the answer will be simple. You didn't quit in your darkest nights. Because the darkest nights create the brightest futures. There comes a moment in every struggle when everything feels like it's reaching its limit. When your patience is gone. When your strength feels empty. When your hope feels faint. And in that moment, you face your final choice. Do you give up? Or do you rise? Because this is where everything changes. Not at the beginning of pain. Not in the middle of struggle. But here, at the breaking point. The breaking point is not the end. It is the turning point. You see, life does not test you to destroy you. It tests you to discover you. The version of you that is hidden under fear, under doubt, under pain. And when everything feels lost, something powerful happens inside you. A shift. A realization. A quiet voice that says, I cannot stay like this anymore. That voice is your awakening. Because every transformation begins with one decision. I will not stay the same. And that decision changes everything. You stop thinking like a victim. You stop reacting like someone who is defeated. You stop living like someone who is waiting to be saved. And instead, you take responsibility for your life. Not because life is easy, but because you are ready. Ready to grow. Ready to fight. Ready to rise. And here is the truth most people never understand. Your life does not change when your situation changes. Your life changes when you change. When your mindset shifts. Your world shifts. Because the same situation that once broke you will one day not even shake you. The same pain that once made you cry will become the reason you grew stronger. The same rejection that once stopped you will become your motivation. This is the rise. You are not meant to stay in darkness forever. Darkness is temporary. But what it creates in you is permanent. So stand up in your mind first. Before your life changes, your identity must change. Stop saying, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this building in me? That shift alone changes everything. Because now you are not a victim of your story. You are the author of it. And when you become the author, you stop repeating chapters of pain. You start writing chapters of power. Yes, the night was dark. Yes, the pain was real. Yes, the journey was hard. But look at you now. You are still here. Still breathing. Still fighting. Still becoming. And that alone proves something powerful. You were never meant to break. You were meant to rise. Now imagine the future version of you. Strong. Confident. Unstoppable. Standing at the place you once thought you could never reach. Looking back at this exact moment. And saying, this was the beginning of everything. That version of you already exists. But it is waiting for you to become it. So don't stop now. Not when you are so close. Not when you have already survived so much. Not when the breakthrough is near. Keep going. Even if it's slow. Even if it's painful. Even if no one sees your effort. Because your effort is not invisible to life. Everything you do is building your future. And one day, the same darkness that tried to break you will be the reason you shine brighter than anyone around you. So let this be your final mindset shift. You are not in a dark ending. You are in a powerful beginning. And every step you take forward is proof that you are becoming someone stronger than your past. Now rise. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer the same person who once gave up easily. Rise with your pain. Rise with your scars. Rise with your story. And when you finally reach your breakthrough, you will understand this truth. The darkest nights did not destroy you. They created you. Because the darkest nights create the brightest futures.